Grand Rising family, welcome to the Black Hot Fire Network 54 Correspondence Show on the 27th day of July, the year 2021. I want to welcome each and every one of us to yet another interesting broadcast of the 54 Correspondence Show. In case you're joining us for the very first time on the 54 Correspondence Show, we get to discuss different issues around the continent of Africa. It could be current affairs and political and social economic sphere. It could be news, even in environmental issues. We get to cover a little bit of that and everything else right here on the Black Hot Fire Network 54 Corresponding Show. We are live and interactive on different social media platforms. You can find us on Twitter. You can also find us on our Facebook, Black Hot Fire Network Radio Station. And you can also find us also on Instagram, Black Hot Fire Network. How is your Tuesday coming along? I hope that you are enjoying your morning so far. Right here in Nairobi, it's actually 2 minutes to 22 minutes. 22 minutes to 2 p.m. And I do hope that you are doing wherever you might be tuning from. I want to welcome you so much. And in Swahili, we normally do say karibuni sana, which simply means you are very, very much welcome. In case you have a question or you would like to find us on email, you can write to us, blackhotfireafrica@gmail.com. And we would be delighted to hear from you, regardless of whether it's a comment, a question, a query, a suggestions. All these things we are open to hearing from you, and we invite your feedback. I just played as an instrumental that is known as Ouagadougou. Whomever created that particular one labeled it Ouagadougou. And Ouagadougou happens to be a West African capital, the capital city of Burkina Faso. In case you would like to tour West Africa, and you're wondering what particular cities perhaps that you might like to tour, I do believe Ouagadougou might be on your list. It's a capital city of Burkina Faso, and the people of Ouagadougou, or the people of Burkina Faso, they are known as the Burkinabe people. And this is really a place where, the temperatures are hot. It's in the sub-Saharan Africa, and the temperatures are really, really hot. And I want to share with us some interesting facts about Ouagadougou before we get into the conversation of the day, which has to do with Tunisia. Tunisia, of course, is another African country, but I want to give us a quick tour to West Africa and I share with us some real quick, interesting facts about Ouagadougou. Some people, if you write down Ouagadougou and you're telling people to pronounce it, many people have a difficulty trying to pronounce Ouagadougou. But if you're wondering how to say the name of this wonderful city, you can pronounce it as Ouagadougou, which is WAHGAHDOONGOO, Ouagadougou. And of course, sometimes people trying to shorten it, and I just pronounce it as Ouaga, which is the capital city of Burkina Faso. The total area of this particular city is 2,805 square kilometers. So it's really, really big. It's about 1.5 the size of the Greater London. It's bigger than London, but like I said, because it's hot and because of the weather and the climate in this, place, you will find it not being inhabited a lot. There are not many inhabitants in Ouagadougou, even if it's a capital city of the West African nation of Burkina Faso. We have talked about Burkina Faso a couple of times on the show. Sometimes we do talk about Burkina Faso in a negative light because of the insecurity in this place. You have found, you will hear about many insurgency and militant groups operating in Burkina Faso. And sometimes, we might not really have a lot of positive stories, but I just want to share with us some interesting facts about Ouagadougou, which is a capital city. It's a bigger city in Burkina Faso. And also, like I said, it's really, really hot and dry. The kind of weather you find there is really, really hot and dry. And the total land area, like I said, is 2,805 square kilometers. And also, the people do speak in French in Ouagadougou, West Africa. The main spoken language is French, is official language in French. Of course, we do have other different ethnic languages in the country, but it's also worth noting that Burkina Faso was a French colony. And this is a flag of the country that I'm sharing with you. It has a yellow star in the middle, and then the color comes in red and green. This reminds me about another new flag that have come about, and this is a flag of Biafra. We know that Biafra is not a country in Africa, but there have been some people that have been agitating for the freedom of Biafra and a secession from the larger Nigeria. There was a war that was fought in 1960, in the late 1960s, from around 1967 to 1970, which led to the loss of about 1 million people. Let me just pull up the flag of Biafra in case you're wondering what I'm talking about. And the flag of Biafra. Also, it also has some red and green as well, and also a sun in the middle. For Burkina Faso, we saw it has a star in the middle, a yellow star in the middle. So this is a flag of the former republic, the former Republic of Biafra, consisting of a horizontal tricolor of red, black, and green touch with a yellow, golden rising sun over the golden but so you can see a little bit of some similarity between these two flags, that the one in Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso, and you can also see the one from Biafra, which has also been labeled as the land of the rising sun by the freedom fighters who are really, really fighting for the, for the emancipation or the secession of Biafra from Nigeria. These are Igbo people who do not want anything to do with the government of Nigeria. And they have said that most of the time they are normally sidelined. They have been sidelined. And there has been one of the separatist movement, the separatist leader, the leader of the separatist movement. And he was actually arrested in Kenya. And he was taken back to Nigeria. Right now, there is a lot of controversy going on around the well-being of this particular individual. He goes by the name Kanu. He is a leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, also known as IPOB, a prominent separatist movement proscribed in Nigeria. It's really illegal, but he was arrested in Kenya, and he was taken through the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport and taken back into Nigeria. Yesterday was expected to be the trial of this leader. And like I said, Biafra is not a nation in Africa. It's not a nation in Africa. It's not identified as such, but it's part of Nigeria that has been agitating for its own self-rule. It's just like we have Tigray in Ethiopia. Tigray is not a country. It's just a region that is a part of Ethiopia, but it has been fighting for secession from mainland Ethiopia. So what is happening now with Biafra is that the leader of this movement, the movement for the liberation of Biafra, was arrested in Kenya, like he said, and he was supposed to be taken to court yesterday. He was supposed to appear in court yesterday, but then again, he did not show up. He was not presented before court. So he was the part of these individuals who are part of the separatist movement. They were saying that he was abducted by Nigeria from Kenya, according to his family, the relatives of the British Nigerian citizen. Namdi Kanu has accused Nigeria of an extraordinary rendition aided by Kenyan authorities. And what has happened is that a Biafra separatist leader and the UK national was arrested by Nigerian authorities in Kenya and taken to Nigeria in an act of extraordinary rendition, his family and lawyers have claimed. Namdi Kanu, a British Nigerian citizen, fled Nigeria in 2017 while on bail facing charges of terrorism and incitement. He was arrested last week and brought to Nigeria's capital, Abuja. The Nigerian authorities decided declined to say where he was taken from. The sudden arrest caused widespread surprise in Nigeria, as his whereabouts had not been known for many years. So, like I said, Yesterday, we were supposed to have a resuming of the resumption of the trial of this leader. He goes by the name Namdu Kanu. And he was supposed to appear before court yesterday on Monday. So Nigeria on Monday resumed the trial of the prominent separatist leader who was brought back in the country in a controversial circumstances, but the case was quickly adjourned after he was not present in court. When his lawyer demanded to know what had happened and why he was not presented before court, the government said that there were some logistical challenges bringing him to court, and therefore that is why he has not been presented. Of course, there were many protesters who were outside court, and these protesters were looking forward to, showing solidarity with this Biafra separatist movement leader. But the court did adjourn. The court was adjourned. The trial was adjourned for this leader Namdu Kanu. And the trial of the Nigerian separatist Namdu leader, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra group, has been postponed until October 21st due to his absence in court. The security forces holding Kanu did not produce him in Abuja's courtroom on Monday. The Abuja Federal Court Judge Binta Nyako adjourned the trial on Monday after waiting hours for the state security services to provide Kanu, who has been in their custody since his rearrest late last month, like you heard from Kenya. And the journalists were kept from the courtroom. Earlier, the supporters, the legal teams, and the journalists were barred from entering the courtroom by the security agents. Kanu was rearrested in Kenya on June 27th after almost 4 years after he evaded arrest and fled the country. He risked a death sentence for treason and other charges against him, which include terrorism and instigating public violence, leading to loss of lives. The human rights lawyer Martin Obono said the government's holding of information about him does not inspire confidence that he will receive a fair trial. Of course, but I do know that, Nigeria, as we speak right now, Nigeria, I was saying that there was a war which did take place, and this war was targeted against these separatist group, which of course has been demanding for the separation from Nigeria or the secession of the Biafra region for a very, very long time. But that has not been seen to, the government has fought really hard to make sure that there is not a secession of this region, because it's also rich. It's also very, very rich. So Biafra, officially, the Republic of Biafra was a secessionist state in West Africa that existed from 1967 to 1970. That is a little bit of the info regarding Biafra. And its territory consisted of the eastern region of Nigeria, eastern Nigeria. And the Biafra was formed as a result of the nationalist aspirations of the Igbo people of Nigeria, leading to the civil war in Nigeria that did last from 1967 to 1970. And its capital was supposed to be Enugu. You have heard about Enugu State in Nigeria, but it seems like people were not really comfortable. They did not feel represented. And let me share with us a little bit of the images. People have not felt represented by the government of Nigeria. And that is why you hear about situations where, the Igbo people are tired and they just want to succeed and just want to be on their own. These, of course, would not make them any stronger. I don't believe if you broke away from the mainland Nigeria, it would actually make you any stronger as a state, as a smaller state. We have seen different places, even in Togo, where there are separatist movements, and these separatist movements, they just want to be on their own. And this is what I'm talking about. You will find this is a region I'm telling you of, and of course, this is Enugu. Enugu was supposed to be the capital, and this is in southern Nigeria. They have said that they want to be their own small state, like you can see on the flag on the map here. They want to be their own small state and secede from the rest of Nigeria and run their own affairs on the side. And these are the Igbo people. So yesterday, like you heard, there was supposed to be the presenting of the leader of this separatist group. He was supposed to be presented before court yesterday, but the government of Nigeria did not present him in Abuja. So this particular case was postponed. It was the trial was adjourned until October. But there was a lot of people going out yesterday. They were supporting, they were going out to show their solidarity with this leader of the separatist movement. And like you can see, there was the killing of many people between 1967 and 1970, when the federal government of Nigeria went in the offensive, and they were looking and fighting the separatist army, which was in the southern region of Nigeria, the place known as Biafra. But this is what you will see. This is what you will see. You will see a lot of info about why they did feel that they wanted to be a separate nation. And I was drawn a contrast between Nigeria and Ethiopia. We have seen in Nigeria there are about 200 different ethnic groups. The Igbo is one of them. The Yoruba is one of them. The Fulani is also another group, and we do have about 200 different groups, ethnic groups in Nigeria. And when you go to the neighboring country, which is not very far, Cameroon, you'll also find about 150 ethnic groups. And if every ethnic group wants to become its own nation, then it means governing the whole country becomes a very, very difficult situation. In Ethiopia, we do have about 81 ethnic groups in Ethiopia. We do have the Oromo, we do have the Tigrinya, we do have, there are so many of them. And right now we're hearing about the Tigrinya wants to become their own nation, stand alone from the federal government of Nigeria and have their own autonomous region or a country. And this is also what did happen with Eritrea and Djibouti. Eritrea and Djibouti were once part of Ethiopia, but eventually they became their own regions and they became their own autonomous governments, even becoming their own self-ruling governments or self-ruling nations. So if you're wondering about what is happening with Biafra, the Igbo people are tired. They just want to be separate. I do not really support this. I do believe that they should be looking forward to becoming more cohesive, not breaking apart. I do believe they should be striving towards becoming one nation, as opposed to becoming a different sub regions which are led by these ethnic leaders. So what we need to know about the matter of Biafra is that at 4:40 p.m. on the 12th of January 1970, the Nigerian Civil War came to a formal end with a radio broadcast from Lieutenant Colonel Philip F. Young, the commander of the army that for the previous 30 months had been fighting secession from Nigeria and the creation of an independent republic known as Biafra. And he did say, I am convinced that the suffering of our people must be brought to an immediate end. Our people are now disillusioned, and for those elements of the old government regime who have made negotiation and reconciliation impossible have voluntarily removed themselves from our midst. That is what this leader did get to announce. And what he was saying is that this was meant to bring to an end the fighting of the 30 months when this particular fighting did take place. And eventually the Biafra revolutions did get to lose. They did get to lose. What you do see is that with these ethnic groups in Africa, of course, Nigerians are spread all over the world. You will find Nigerians in Kenya, you'll find Nigerians in the USA, you'll find Nigerians everywhere in the world. But we have failed to have a common identity. The Nigerians have failed to have a common identity as one people. And that is, of course, what has led us to a situation where we are right now, where we are weakened because of the division. If you want to see yourself as a Nigerian from the Igbo community, another one want to see themselves as a Nigerian from the Yoruba community, another one from the Fulani community, it makes the work of even developing the country very, very difficult. I do know for a fact that if Nigeria was to get its act right, being the country with the biggest population on the continent of Africa, it would be able to inspire the rest of the African continent towards unity. If Nigeria was to get its act right, we would be able to inspire the rest of the African nations towards unity. The same thing happens to Ethiopia. Ethiopia, I believe, is a country on the African continent with the second largest population on the continent. And therefore, that is why you're hearing about these different ethnic groups wanting to become their own nation. And that is why you're hearing about the fighting of the Tigray. And these Tigray forces are fighting against the federal government in Ethiopia. And I was saying also Ethiopia, if Ethiopia was to get its act right and people came together into making one strong nation, then it would also inspire the rest of the Africans to also follow the same path. But in Ethiopia, we do have about 112 million people, according to a census in 2019. And this makes it the second most populous nation in the continent of Africa after Nigeria, and also the fastest growing economy in the region. But what has happened is that attention has shifted. Instead of attention going towards unity, now attention now goes towards, disintegrating into smaller regions, which of course has led to the decline of the continent of Africa. Sister Stephanie, thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast. You're saying morning spites. Morning to you too. I hope that you are doing well. Sister Stephanie, let us know where you're tuning from. Are you tuning from Zazi? Please let us know. I would just like to give a quick shout out to the people of your city. And thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast. We appreciate your time. We were discussing a little bit about the matter of the two countries, which is Nigeria and Ethiopia. And we were discussing about the arrest of the separatist leader, the leader of the separatist movement in Ethiopia, in Nigeria. And what has happened is that he was not presented before court yesterday. And the lawyers have come out and they were asking whether they were asking about his well-being, because if you're not presented before court, and the court and the reasons given is that there was some logistical challenges, then that would have been communicated, to the court. But the trial has actually been adjourned. And what has happened is that this leader of the separatist movement has been receiving a lot of support, even from the Igbo people, like I said, in southern Nigeria. What you realize is that in Nigeria, there are two, because of religion. Let me just try to break down how Nigeria is. Because of religion and tribalism, Nigeria has disintegrated into something that is almost becoming ungovernable, because of religion first and foremost, and because of tribalism. When it comes to religion, we do have the northern part of Nigeria, which is predominantly Muslim, and almost 80% of the northern region of Nigeria is almost Muslim. And of course, we do have the traditional spiritual systems in that particular part of northern Nigeria. But about 80% of northern Nigeria is Muslim. And then when you go to southern Nigeria is predominantly Christian. And of course, we also do have the other traditional religious systems in Nigeria in the southern region, but about 80% of the southern is really Christian. And then apart from that, that is the breakdown of the religion in Nigeria. Then from that, we now go into tribes. Like I said, in the southern, we do have the Igbo. In the northern, we do have other different communities. And every other community, most of the time, you find them trying to see themselves as a smaller group. And with this particular kind of a thinking, then we cannot have any kind of a development. It makes a country even almost become very, very difficult even to govern. So yesterday was supposed to be the resumption of this trial of the separatist leader. You can see him holding the flag. This is the flag of Biafra. And you can also see it's very, very different from the flag of Nigeria. The flag of Nigeria doesn't have a yellow on it. So what the government is trying to do is really sentence this leader. He's known as an Namdu. This is a flag of Nigeria, and this is also this is a flag of Nigeria, and also the map. The map of Nigeria looks like sticks, but I'm talking about this region at the bottom here, the southern Nigeria. This is where we do have the Biafra, which of course wanted to declare itself as a state, and the federal government went into a war, and there was a civil war which lasted for about 3 years. Between 1967 and also 1970, with the federal government fighting the separatist movement right here in the southern tip of this particular country. But far away from that, I was drawn to attention the matter of the arrest of this separatist leader. I was saying personally, I do not believe that having two different states makes anything better. Even if you're to be given your own country, you would still be facing the same challenges. The challenge that you are facing includes tribalism, they include corruption, they include religion. These are the divisions. These are the challenges that we are facing as an African people, whether be it in Nigeria, whether be it in Ethiopia. And even for tiny countries such as Togo, let me even take us to Togo and show us Togo. Let me take us to Togo. And this is a tiny country. And if you're looking at the country, let me just show you what Togo looks like. This is Togo right here on the map, as you can see. And it's actually also very, very close to, it's between Ghana and Benin. Togo is the red spot here that you can see. It actually looks like a rectangle. It's not really a perfect rectangle, but this is a country which is known as Togo. And let me try even blow up the image. Let me try blow up the image. It's between, it's really between Benin and Ghana. It's just like part of Ghana. I do believe at some point it was a part of the old Ghana. But this is the country which is known as the Togo, the Republic of Togo, the Togolese Republic. And it also borders Burkina Faso at the north. But what you happen to realize, even a country as tiny as Togo, there have been some separatist movements also fighting in Togo, trying to have some part of Togo become, independent or autonomous and seceding from the Togo. Togo is very, very tiny. I don't think even, let me even check the population of Togo just to confirm Togo's population. Just to confirm. So the population of Togo is said to stand at about 8.0 million people. But this is also another country that wants to have has some political upheavals from the inside. And you will also hear about Western Togo. That want to call itself Western Togoland, are also fighting very, very hard to become, it's also its own autonomous region. So the area of Eastern Ghana has declared itself a sovereign state. The region known as Western Togoland has had a secession attempts in the past. And this is the Western Togoland restoration. We stand for our rights. Armed men demanding the secession of Western Togoland from Ghana blockaded major entry points into the Volta region of Ghana on Friday. And it's sad. You will find that in Africa, instead of people deciding to come together and uniting, you all in Atlanta, thank you so much. You all in Atlanta. I think Keith was around Atlanta the other day. I think that was last week. Keith was around Atlanta, Georgia, last week. Yes, I do believe. But much peace and love to you, and peace to everyone from Atlanta. We want to share our love with them from the motherland to the US. So I was talking briefly about the matter of the secession and what has been happening, and going back to the arrest of the secession movement leader. There has been also people in Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone, of course, is also another West African country, who have come out yesterday. They were protesting. They went on a march. They were protesting because they do say that they even closed their jobs. They closed their jobs. These are in a place in Sierra Leone, which is in Freetown. Freetown is in Sierra Leone. Let me share with us Freetown, Sierra Leone, Freetown. So we do have the people of Nigeria doing businesses everywhere. You will find them in South Africa. You will find them in Sierra Leone. You will find them everywhere. So what was happening yesterday after the arrest, in connection to this particular case that is happening in Nigeria, is that there are some businessmen of Igbo descent. There are some businessmen of Igbo descent. Who do get to operate businesses in downtown Freetown. Freetown is in Sierra Leone. And they did shut their businesses yesterday because they were also standing in solidarity with Nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu is a leader of the separatist movement of the Biafra. And of course, he is Igbo. So the Igbo also decided to close their businesses in Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone is miles from Nigeria. It's so many miles from southern Nigeria, where we do have the Igbo people. But they did shut down their businesses yesterday in protest, demanding for justice and the release of their leader, who is now arrested in and of course under the security forces in Nigeria, in Abuja. That is where he is being held. So that is a little bit of what is happening. Are you saying have a nice day? You have to go to work. It's all good. You can check out the broadcast a little bit later. And I also thank you so much. We are wishing you a happy and a productive day as you go about, as you get to work right now. Have an enjoyable day. I was talking about what is happening, of course, in Freetown. Freetown, the Igbo people have also shown solidarity with the arrested leader over the Biafra movement. And like I said, about 1 million people did lose their lives between 1967 and 1970 because of this fight that was taking place in Biafra, the southern region of Nigeria. And what did happen is that Biafra was even formally recognized by Gabon. It was also formally recognized by Haiti. It was also formally recognized by Ivory Coast, and it was also recognized by Tanzania and Zambia. And other nations which did not give official recognition but provided support to us to an assistance to Biafra included France, Spain, Portugal, Norway, Rhodesia, and South Africa. These are some of the countries that have been said to have given support to Biafra to become its own independent state. And Biafra also received aid from non-state actors, including the Joint Tax Aid, the Holy Ghost Fathers of Ireland, and under their direction, the Caritas International and the U.S. Catholic Relief Services, the Medicines Sans Frontieres also originated in response to the suffering. And 2.5 years of war, including almost 2 million Biafran civilians, three-quarters of them being small children, died from starvation caused by the total blockade of the region by the Nigerian government. And Nigerian government also has blood on its hands, because during this particular fight against a separatist movement in southern Nigeria, you realize that there was a blockade of this region, and therefore people will not be able to access food. So there was a lot of humanitarian challenges, the same that have also been seen recently in Tigray. In Tigray, there has been the fighting, and the Tigray people wanted to have their own government led by the TPLF, and therefore there was a blockade of this region, but the blockade has ended. It has been lifted by the government of Ethiopia. So I'm mixing the two. You might do not get confused. I am mixing a little bit about the history of Nigeria and the Biafra region, which is a southern region, and I'm also mixing that with what is happening with Ethiopia, because in Ethiopia there has also been the fighting which has been geared towards making the Tigray region autonomous or its own country. But that is a little bit of the contrast I'm drawing, so do not get confused. So after 2.5 years, almost 3 years, not even 2.5, almost 3 years of the fighting, the Biafran forces under the Nigerian motto, no victor, no vanquished, surrender to the Nigerian federal military government. The surrender was facilitated by the Biafran vice president and the chief of the general staff, Major General Philip Ofiong, who assumed leadership of the Republic of Biafra after the original president, Colonel Chukwuemeka Odumegu Ejuku, fled to Ivory Coast, where he was he actually fled to Ivory Coast. And after the surrender of the Biafra, some Igbos who had fled to the conflict returned to their properties, but were unable to claim them back from the new occupants. This became the law in the Abandoned Properties Act. It was purported that at the start of the civil war, Igbos withdrew their funds from Nigerian banks and converted them into Biafran currency. After the war, the bank accounts owned by the Biafrans were seized, and the Nigerian panel resolved to give every Igbo person with an account only £20. So there has been a lot of injustice, and I can see also why. I can also see who in its own region, which is a part of a southern Nigeria, but they wanted to have their own republic. What did happen is that some people took money from their bank account in mainland, in main Nigeria, and they took away their money. And when they took away their money, they also took away their property from some of these businesses, and they wanted to be their own. They wanted to have their own government and have their own system in southern Nigeria. And when they did, they took themselves from the main economic in Nigeria. They wanted to build their own smaller economic structure with their own currency in southern Nigeria. And this, like you heard, it really did not serve to their own, it did not benefit them at the end of the day. Because what did happen is that they converted their money and made it into another currency, which is the Biafra currency. And they were also getting the support. They were also getting the support from France. They were also getting the support from Zambia. You know, some countries did get to recognize Biafra as an own independent state, like you had. Zambia was one of them. Tanzania was one of them, and other different governments did get to embrace or did get to accept Biafra as an independent state. But of course, that did not happen. You know, it also has its own resources on the ground. You know, Biafra, the southern part of Nigeria, which was once known as the Republic of Biafra, it has its own resources on the ground, and therefore the Nigerian federal government did not want it being part, you know, being broken apart, and you know, standing alone as its own nation, and that is what did happen. Like you see, this is a flag of Biafra. And you might ask yourself, why was Biafra really calling for their own independence? Like I said, there has been the atrocities that were done against these people. Over 1 million people were murdered in the 3 years of the war. Other people died from hunger because there was a blockade of this region, and humanitarian assistance could not be taken to them. And there are other different reasons as to why we did have the loss of over 1 million people. So more than 45 years ago, Nigeria was nearly divided by a bloody civil war that led to the death of over 1 million people. Now a revival of the secessionist sentiment in southeastern Nigeria among supporters of the historical Biafra threatens to undermine President Buhari's vision of a united Nigeria and has spilled over into regional violence. Thousands of protesters have taken to the streets in southern Nigeria in recent weeks following the arrest of the prominent Biafran pro-activist who has been accused by the Nigerian authorities of hate speech and treason, as well as demanding their colleagues' release. Some protesters are calling for the establishment of an independent Biafra once again. The protests have resulted in several deaths, and Nigerian authorities have warned that anyone sowing discontent or inciting the public disorder will be dealt with firmly as tensions continue to flare. This is what was happening sometimes back. And in 1967, the Nigerian military officer Odumegu Ojukwu declared the Republic of Biafra, an area mainly populated by the Igbo ethnic group, as independent in southeastern Nigeria. The Nigerian military consequently entered into a civil war with the Biafrans, encircling the region and blockading supplies from reaching the population. As a result, more than 1 million people died, mainly due to starvation. And like I said, people do feel a lot of anger with the government and how they dealt with the matter. They do feel a lot of anger because some of them were just killed by the military, by the federal military itself. So to the point where we are right now, there has been the arrest of one of the separatist movement leaders. He's known as Namdi. And many people have been calling for his release, especially the Igbo from the southern and eastern part of Nigeria. I was saying, for me, I do believe that separation does not help. Separation only leads people into more, divided. When you are divided, you are easily conquered. And now I'm saying we do have about 200 million people in Nigeria. And we also do have about 200 different ethnic groups in Nigeria. And if every other ethnic group wanted to see itself as separate and become its own region and be autonomous, then it means that it would have about 200 different regions in Nigeria, which it wouldn't make any sense. So I would actually urge the people of Nigeria, very, very soon, I hope that we can be able to have a guest from Nigeria on the broadcast so that they can also be able to let us know what is happening on the ground and why are the people of southern Nigeria, who are southeastern Nigeria, that they both very, very dissatisfied with how the government has been running its affairs. For one, I do know it has to do with corruption. The government of Muhammad Buhari, who is the president of Nigeria, it has become very, very corrupt. In order for you even to secure any government contract, there has to be some deals that have to be under the table. And because of this, you do find that the economy of the country has been very, very much affected. The rate of inflation has gone up. And you realize that because of these kinds of problems, people have still been stuck in poverty because you cannot access economic opportunities, opportunities to advance economically. Even when you try to do so, you have to pay some bribes. And because of this corruption, it also means that the money that is coming in from the oil, Nigeria is one of the largest oil producers on the continent of Africa. We do have the Association of the oil producing nations corporation, or a block of the oil producing countries, and Nigeria is one of the biggest oil producing countries on the continent. We also do have Angola. Angola is also another large oil producing country. We also do have Sudan, which is also another large oil producing country. But what do these three countries have in common? There is a lot of either civil wars going on, or also a lot of military insurgents, militants and insurgency going on in these particular countries. Like I said, Sudan. There has been a lot of political chaos in Sudan. Go back to Angola. In Angola, there was a civil war which lasted for very, very long. And all the countries that do have oil and do have lots of resources on the continent of Africa, they have been destabilized. And of course, you can also guess that the destabilizing has also come from external factors, like you do here with Biafra, which is southern Nigeria. It was being supported by countries such as France, and we know what France has done with countries that have been colonized by the French in Africa. There has been a lot of destabilizing of these areas. For example, go to Burkina Faso. You will find a lot of fighting in Burkina Faso. Go to Mali. You will find a lot of fighting and instability in Mali. All the countries that are colonized by the French, we know that the French really has the blood on their hands because they have supplied weapons for most of these particular militant groups. And they have also been involved in even funding to different extents some of these groups, and their involvement is actually known. If you go to these puppet leaders and get to inquire about French involvement and French participation in destabilizing these African countries, it is very, very much well known, though it has not been put out there. But people do know the French have been involved in destabilizing the country, the nations in West Africa, and not just in West Africa. Recently, we were talking about Madagascar. Madagascar is not a West African country. Madagascar was a French colony. We also know about Haiti. Haiti was also another French colony. But look at where these countries all are today. In Madagascar, they were expected to have an election very, very soon. But there was an attempted plot. That was geared towards assassinating the president of Madagascar. In Haiti, we know that the Haiti former president was murdered because there was an assassination, and they did kill him in his own home at 1 a.m. in the night. So if you look at the common underlying factor, I do know that our friends' influence or friends' involvement can be seen in all of these, either be it in West Africa or even in Madagascar, where there has been an attempt or a plot that has been geared towards the killing of that particular president. You look at the continent of Africa, because of the puppet leadership and because of lack of independence. We might say that you have independence and freedom on the continent of Africa, but that is far from the truth. Everything that is going about in the political spheres of Africa, there has been interference, and also not just interference, but even control in every aspect of the political leadership of the African continent. You will find that the leaders that have been put in place, these are leaders that have been put in place by foreign governments, looking after their own interests, especially the governments that have to do with the foreign colonial powers that run these particular countries. Like I was saying, in Mali, there was the attempted assassination of the president, the interim president. That was last week in Mali. And what has happened? He almost got stabbed with a knife in the mosque. I'm talking about the interim president of Mali. Mali was a French colony. So last week, was it last week or last week but one? Yes, I do believe last week but one. There was the attempted assassination of the president of the interim president of Mali. And what did happen is that what happened is that when this interim president went to the mosque for prayers, he actually went to one of the mosques for prayers. A man came and wanted to attack the president with a knife. He almost stabbed the president with a knife. And of course, he was apprehended. You know, there is security around the president. But in the mosque, you wouldn't expect someone really come with a knife in the mosque. But that did happen. The interim president of Mali was attacked, and he almost got stabbed with a knife in the mosque when he was conducting his his prayers. But now the funny thing is, and it's not really even funny, because that individual that went and wanted to attack this president and stab him to death with a knife was arrested. Of course, he was apprehended, and he was, of course, put behind bars. But even as the investigation was going on, to find out, who had paid him, who had sent him to do this work, or was he working alone, or was he working as a part of a group? What did happen is that right now they say that the suspect has died in custody, when he was being detained. The Mali's government says the man detained for attempting to stab the transitional president has died in hospital while in custody. And they also say a man detained for attempting to stab Mali's president last week has died in hospital while in custody, according to the government. And they're saying that the interim, the president, who is known as Goita, was unharmed after the attack that did get to take place, I believe, 2 weeks when he was he was in the mosque for his Eid prayers. The attempted stabbing of the Colonel Assimi Goita was on July 20th at a public ceremony at the Great Mosque of the capital of Bamako to celebrate the Muslim holiday of Eid al-Adha. Goita, a special forces colonel who staged 2 coups within the 9 months, is now Mali's transitional leader, was unharmed in the attack. The suspect was detained and an investigation was going on. The perpetrator was immediately apprehended by the forces during the security services. And what did happen is that the suspect was admitted to hospital where he died, the government said, adding that an investigation in the cause of his death will be carried out. So they have also said that they do not know the real cause of